Let's turn my phone off. Hold on, resume. My fault, y'all. Hold on a second.
Hello,
Yes.
hello.
All right, you see? All right, here we go. All right, what's up, y'all? Hey, so I got to go live on my phone because we're having some issues right now as far as the Facebook Live is.
Yeah.
So I'm doing it through a phone. Look, I'm not sure how long this show's going to go.
You might as well flip it
Do
like
I want
that.
to
Yeah,
go like this?
flip it like that, because then the video will come up like that later, too.
Or I look kind of fat.
Oh shit, we're live. It's working.
Is it working?
Yes.
All right, never mind. All right, here we go. We're finna switch over to the Mac and Black feed right now. Am I going to vent about this dumbass coronavirus? Yes, I am. So if you haven't followed us on Mac and Black, do it now. You should have just got a ding. Let's talk about the coronavirus and how America's acting like a bunch of stupid ass punk bitch idiots. It's on now. Let's go. No, finish. There we go. All right. So are we going? Are we live now? We're live?
Yeah, we're live.
All right,
We're
cool. All right, here we go.
live.
All right, what's up, everybody? Do not be alarmed. Hopefully, this will not be the last show of the layoff because America has lost its balls and we're canceling everything. Cruise ships are getting canceled. All the sports are getting canceled. As a matter of fact, when I came in today, they said that they suspended NASCAR. I almost called the fellas and said, we're not doing a show.
No NASCAR.
No NASCAR, no show. I've had enough.
NASCAR, no show. I like that.
If
That's our new motto.
No NASCAR, no show. So now they suspended operations for NASCAR.
Oh, man.
Dude, what are we doing, ladies and gentlemen?
There's literally the only leagues that are going right now are the UFC and the Mexican Soccer League. And the Mexican Soccer League, if you know the Mexican Soccer League culture, they don't fuck around when it comes to first day. They don't fuck around when it comes to their soccer.
No.
So they said, no. I mean, it doesn't. What happened was they got told that it does not pose a public threat if nobody is there for the game, that they can play as long as no one's there at the game and only essential staff is there. Mexican League said, all right, fuck it. We're going to make our bread. Everybody's going to be able to play. We're not going to lose our season. Let's do this. UFC is in the same boat, and we're watching UFC right now. It's in an empty arena, but we're watching it.
Yeah, so yesterday I said on my Facebook that I needed to rant for a while because, and I was going to do it yesterday, but a lot of stuff had come off.
Glad you saved it.
And I was going to go ahead and save it for now.
Hey, Steve, can you hear us okay? Because I'm kind of hearing a little bit of a mixed thing in our headphones right now. Can you hear us okay?
I could hear you just fine.
Okay,
All right,
perfect.
cool.
Sorry, go ahead.
So this is why I need to rant.
Okay.
So I work for Mod Pizza, as you can see on my hat, Mod Pizza. We're supposed to do this big-ass event on Monday where these kids in this marketing class create pizzas, and then they try to get people to come in and buy the most pizzas.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's great for the kids.
Cool.
It's great for business.
Yeah.
I was going to OC. That's overtime on my check. I was preparing for the worst.
Mm-hmm.
And yesterday, a mom comes in and she says, Downers Grove North, excuse me, as of Monday, will be closed for 3 weeks. So I called my GM. I said, hey, they're closing the school down for 3 weeks. Is the event on? He said, I will let you know. 10 minutes later, he called and said, all that sausage I bought, you got to put in the freezer because they canceled it. And at that point, I got pissed off. Guys, America, what are we doing? The richest, most powerful nation in the world has lost its balls. We are scared of the flu. We have now let the minions scare us into our everyday lives. We got people in the store acting like it's apocalyptic now. Everybody and their mama's buying
Wearing a
12 million rolls of toilet paper over the flu. It is the flu. Relax. And here's what really pisses me off. Where's the media? I was telling Mac off air, one of my best friends in the world, Michelle, I love her to death, works for the media. She's like, well, it's our job to inform you guys that it's going. So let me give you an example. I'm going to give it to it again. If I caught the flu, not the monkey-ass coronavirus, I'm talking about just a straight-up common cold, right? I catch the common cold.
Yep.
I come in here, feel like that. Like what I did when I came back from New York. Caught something, ravaged my body for at least 3 days, it was done. Never bitched, never complained, never said anything. I had cough drops. I bought some soup. I bought some Alka-Seltzer. I bought orange juice. I was fine in 3 days. Now, if I would have came in and been like, oh my God, I think I'm going to die. I feel like my chest's coming out of my heart's coming out of my chest. My lungs hurt. I'm finna die. I got to go to Jewel and buy all the cans of soup because I feel like I'm finna die. Mac, I think I'm finna die, man. Come on, bro. You got to take me to the hospital.
And everybody just looking at you like,
Steve, take me to the ER, bro. Like, I'm feeling like shit. What are we doing, bro? Ow. And you guys just sat there and watched me act like a complete dumbass without checking me. That's what the media is doing. You got your heads so far up the TV media and your phone, and they are watching us act like total dumbasses, and they are doing nothing to stop y'all from being idiots.
And they know that the people have short attention spans too. So they, like, when it comes to stories that are negative or stories that they want to push, they know how to catch the attention and get all the information out quickly. But with this, it seems like it's this long, drawn out thing, and it's always, this kind of doom and gloom. And even the reporting of the closures and the media, the way that they're handling, the sporting events not being there, they're not explaining it correctly. No. They're not explaining why they're not opening the events to fans. The reason why is because it's a prevention effort. It's an effort to not overflow hospitals, ERs, these health centers, and basically what they're saying is the coronavirus is the reason for this. And that when people have short attention spans, they're going to look at that and say, well, the coronavirus is so dangerous that they have to shut down these events. And it's not that. It's not. We are all guys, to bring some facts to the table. 60%, Harvard did a study, 60% of adults in this country over the next 2 years are going to be exposed to coronavirus. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. We are all going to be exposed to this virus. This virus is not new. People who are saying this virus just came about in 2019, it did not. Coronavirus has been around since the late 1800s. COVID-19 is a new strain of coronavirus.
Right.
It is, just like the flu and any other these kind of viruses, they mutate, right? They find a way to get better and to fuck us up worse, right? So COVID-19 is the newest version of this. There's other countries who are very well prepared for this, and there's countries like us right now that are scrambling. And when you're scrambling like this, it brings out the worst in people, and we're seeing it right now with the Walmarts and people, flooding their local stores for no reason. For no
whatsoever.
Reason. It's crazy.
My sister said the Fiesta Market in Bolingbrook was jam-packed.
Yeah.
For what? Guys, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah, everybody's gonna be fine.
This is the way they said we need to stop the coronavirus. Make sure you wash your hands. The same nonsense I've been told since I was 3. I'm 36.
Yeah.
For 33 years, they've been telling us to wash our hands.
And it's crazy that we have
man.
It's crazy that we have to tell this country, if you're sick, don't go outside, right? Like, I understand this has a lot to do with the fact that a lot of people work jobs where they can't afford to be sick, right? I understand that aspect, right? Like, I've worked in jobs where if I didn't work, I don't get paid, right? So if I have the sniffles, I'm going to work.
Right.
If I'm going to die, I'm not going to work, right?
Right.
But what the big thing is, now it's a very simple thing. Hey, all you have to do, if you're the media, I'm NBC News, you are my lead anchor, and I am the lead producer, and we're in our meeting right now, and we're thinking, okay, Oh man! All right, I know everyone. Thank you, everyone, for jumping in and coming in. I know it's been a rough couple of days here. I know we've got a little bit of a short staff here because we only want essential employees here. We don't want to we don't want too many people gathering here. We have to really effectively talk about this and make sure to educate people on this, right? And now I'm gonna break scene here just to say, in this situation, am I going to tell my lead anchor, hey, I need you to make sure to draw this out for 15 minutes on your show? I'm not lying. I watched the local news. I think it was ABC News. I watched the local news for 11 minutes. They're talking about the coronavirus. Just jumping in here, Italy, this, China, this, Wuhan, this, and none of it is concise. None of it is telling me exactly what I need to know. None of it is really, first of all, nothing really pertains to me, right? If you're telling me what's happening in Italy, if you're watching what's happening in Italy, you're looking at a country that now has, I want to say 6 million people quarantined. The reason for this is not because, again, they're very clear. Nobody's freaking out in Italy. Like, that's the crazy thing. Nobody is rushing to buy toilet paper or anything like that. They're just staying home. They understand we're okay. We just got to stay home, right? They're doing concerts. Literally, they're going out into their balcony and playing instruments and playing concerts because they understand this is going to pass. We're going to be okay. And the mood here is just so ludicrous to see people.
It's so stupid.
I went to Costco.
It is stupid.
I went to Costco, and you would think that a hurricane was coming.
Thank you. That's what I said. We're preparing for a hurricane.
Yeah.
Bro, it's a flu.
It's the flu.
It's just the flu.
Stay home for 5 days. Everybody will be fine.
Everything will be fine. God bless. Now everything's canceled. The biggest pimps of all sports had to cancel a $1 billion tournament, no NCAA tournament, no NBA for 30 days. The NHL, Gary Bettman said today that maybe the NHL will come back soon because no one tested positive for coronavirus. I heard that Canada was cool until they heard that. And I heard the Canadians may have some type of vaccine to make sure that Canada doesn't get spread with the nonsense.
And they have universal health care over there. So they have, socialized health care. So every single citizen there has health access. We don't. We have over 10 million uninsured people in this country, and we have over, I think, 50 million underinsured people in this country. That's the reason why. Nobody wants to really talk about why we're in such a crazy position right now. This administration was not ready for this.
Nope.
They should have been ready, and they weren't ready. Their response to it was underwhelming, and at the end of the day, I don't care about your politics. Everybody should be on board for what we're talking about here, which is A, we need to keep everyone safe, and B, everyone needs to have access to the healthcare that they need, the tests that they need, and right now that's not the case. And the worst part is the most vulnerable people are the ones who are being affected by this, and that's the worst part. Like seeing old people, it breaks my heart to think about, that 80-year-old guy who his wife died last year, and this is his first year by himself. And he has to do his own shopping, and his kids are out of state, and he just needs toilet paper, and he's going to the store, and everybody's bum rushing everything, and again, dude, it's like Black Friday or a hurricane was coming, and we don't need this, man. Like we have to be better about that.
Ridiculous, America. We need to be better than this. Better. Everyone took it to the NBA. And the NBA needs to step up and do the right thing and suspend the season. Yeah. And he did. I'll do you one better. The NBA should have showed some balls and should have been like, I'm not canceling the season because mama ain't raised no bitch. That's what should have happened. Just like Vince McMahon refuses to stop WrestleMania. Why? Because Vincent Kennedy McMahon Senior ain't raised no bitch. That's why. Kudos to Vince McMahon not stopping WrestleMania. And to anybody that wants to hate us on this decision, piss off because you out here acting like a bitch over the flu.
They could just not have fans there. I mean,
that would be tough to have WrestleMania with no fans.
But the thing is,
everything that goes into it.
But here's the thing, right? When is WrestleMania scheduled for?
April 5th.
April 5th. Okay, so if it was June, I would say there's no reason to cancel it. But to have 70,000 people there, at the same time, it's a health hazard. I don't care what anyone says. But the problem is the NBA, right? The NBA could have just played without fans. That would have been okay. It would have taken away from the games a little bit. I heard I was watching UFC earlier. Michael Bisping was saying, adrenaline is such a huge part of sports, and what gives people adrenaline and gives athletes adrenaline is people in the crowd and the cheering and the booing, and a lot of this has a lot to do with the adrenaline that goes through these guys' veins. And he's basically saying you're sort of at a loss when there's no excess of adrenaline there. You're playing at a loss. And LeBron said the same. I do kind of blame a little bit about the way LeBron reacted to it at first, where he said, I wouldn't play without fans. That sort of put them in the hole, right? Because the face of the league is basically, handcuffing the league, because if it's a health hazard to have that many people in one place, you need to play with no fans, and they could have. We could have been watching. Listen, the NBA would have been fine if they just stopped having fans at the games. In fact, they could have probably made it so that the playoffs would have had fans there, because it might have been safe by then. But instead, they decided that wouldn't be the option, and Rudy Gobert, I mean, we were talking about it before the show. He really fucked the league.
Man,
and honestly, I think he really fucked the NHL and the NBA, because I think both leagues were aligned with the fact that, you know what, it's gonna suck, but we have to play, right? We're too deep into the season. The MLB is gonna be fine. Anybody that's saying that the league might be canceled for the MLB, I highly doubt that. Highly doubt that. Anybody saying that NFL is going to be affected, the NFL hasn't flinched, by the way. The NFL's like, we're good. Like, we're still a ways away before reacting to something like this. I think the draft might be affected. Maybe don't have people at the draft. Fine. Who cares? But the NBA and the NHL were really affected by Rudy Gobert and the clown type shit he was doing, touching every mic, trolling. Listen, dude, you are putting people at risk, right? And the reason why we have to do things like quarantine and all this crazy shit is because of people like you, because you think that this shit's a game and it's not. All you have to do is just listen. I'm not asking for everyone to be up here like we are right now. We just have to have a baseline level of fucks that we have to give. Just give the minimum amount, right? Just stop touching other people for a little while. If you're sneezing, sneeze into your coughing into your shoulder if you can, whatever. Just take the minimum amount of precautions. But to go into the grocery store, push people over, hoard these useless items like toilet paper. Let me just ask you something, Nick. What's going to happen when the shortage is water and not toilet paper? When instead of toilet paper being we can't find toilet paper. Oh my God. What's going to happen when that's water? Just imagine what this country is going to look like. I mean, we live amongst savages.
Dasani, apparently.
Yeah, exactly. Dasani's the only one that's left. And I'll be honest with you, I went to Costco. The only water that was available was the expensive water, like Smart Water and some of these other Fiji and stuff. Honestly, even Fiji was gone. So I bought a couple cases of Smart Water because I said, fuck it. I mean, if I have to, I have to. But again, everybody's going to be fine. Nobody needs to panic. If you have the sniffles, if you feel like you're not going to be in a good position, if you feel a little bit under the weather, go to the doctor. That's it. I think they're suggesting don't go to the ER. You don't want to flood the ER. And again, this reaction, Nick, I just want to emphasize this because I don't want to be one of those shows that, blames everything without bringing facts to the table. The facts are this. We are all going to be exposed to coronavirus in our life, this specific strain. All of us. That's it. Now, this whole next month and a half period is about the prevention of a explosion. We don't want to see 100,000 people get sick at once because we don't have, unfortunately, because our administration, our president has decided to cut funding to a lot of these very integral and important agencies, the CDC, a lot of these preventatory agencies, we were not prepared for this. And I have friends who are doctors. I have friends who work in the ER, and they're telling me that it's crazy right now, that, even the notoriously crazy hospitals are even crazier. And the worst part is you have people coming in, thinking that they're going to die. And you're not going to die, guys. If you're 60 or older, if you have respiratory problems, or if you have a bad immune system, you are vulnerable to this. This is for them, by the way. This prevention method is for them. This is not for us, right?
No.
Like you and I, they're not shutting down NBA and NHL and this and this and that for you and I. They're shutting this down because they don't want the most vulnerable people to this to be exposed to this as soon as they think they're going to be exposed to this. So let's just cool this sort of narrative. And your friend who's in the media, I would challenge her to say, I would watch a segment and see what you would take out of that as the viewer. Because sometimes you're so inundated being in the media, you work there, you're defending, it's like you're defending your family, right? Like I work here and you're attacking my family, which is the media, and I need to defend you. And what I would suggest to her is to just watch one of the segments that you put out and see if I'm the average or average person who's watching or listening, am I going to take out of that what I need to take out of that? That yes, we do need to be careful, but also there's no reason to freak out. There's no reason to be, super sad or mad or whatever about this. The real tough part about this whole thing right now is how we're reacting, not the actual sickness or virus.
Yep. Got some comments here in the chat room.
All right.
The troll says McMahon didn't cancel a wrestling show when Owen Hart died. Exactly.
And he died during the event, right?
During the event.
During the event, yeah. I remember that.
Vince McMahon said the show must go on.
I remember
because I know he was sad for Owen and what happened to him.
He's like, the show must go on, bitch.
But he said, I got money to make because Vincent Kennedy McMahon Sr. ain't raised no bitch. That's what he said. Heather Marsala says, I'm going to Salt Lake City in a few weeks. I'm so disappointed the Jazz Clippers game. I have a ticket to probably won't get in as scheduled. Yep.
You definitely won't get in. I would
definitely not getting in.
Try and get your refund right now.
Yep. Steven says XFL got canceled, ran on that, and then directed towards me. I can't ran on it because I don't watch the XFL like that.
And honestly, I applaud the XFL because they said we're canceling the season and we're going to pay all of our players, we're going to pay all the staff. Because at this point, dude, if you're the XFL, you're halfway in your season.
Right.
And it's not playable after this, right? This is the absolute worst time for them to have come out with this type of product. And it's the absolute worst time for us to have a virus like this to happen to us. So bad timing, but respect to the XFL. Listen, Vince McMahon, say what you want about the guy. He's done some sleazeball-y things in the past, but mostly he does a good job of making sure that everyone who needs to get paid gets paid. And the XFL, these are a lot of guys who are not rich. These guys who are playing the XFL are not rich. So I'm happy that they did the right thing and paid those players and the staff and everybody. And again, we're seeing in the NBA, NHL, some of these other leagues, players stepping forward and donating money to the hourly workers who are going to be missing work as a result of these stoppages. That's the worst part. Like, that's the thing that people aren't seeing, right? Like, yeah, our entertainment is gone, right? Like, to be quite honest, Nick and I are pissed about this. This is our livelihood in many ways.
I've been pissed since Thursday.
Yeah, this is our livelihood in many ways. This is something that we hope to do for the rest of our lives, and it's centered around this one thing that's now being put on hold. And it sucks because we're losing the entertainment value. But the worst part about this is the people who are the hourly workers, the person who's, relies on his check, working for the Cavaliers, relies on that check and isn't going to get it because of this. And thankfully the league is stepping up. The players are stepping up, the owners, and that's the whole thing about these billionaires. These billionaires could fix some of these issues in a second. But instead, you have these players who are stepping up instead. And yeah, applaud to those players, but fuck you to these owners.
Seriously.
A giant fuck you to these owners because you guys basically would rather save a couple bucks than to do the right thing.
And if I'm not hold on, let me show I'm reading this right. Hold on, let me show.
Okay.
Zach Kotowski says, buddy of mine that is close to the NHL and knows
Uh-oh,
the person,
inside source. Uh-oh.
Yep. And he says he's close to the NHL and knows person told me earlier that the NHL is close to coming with a plan for the playoffs to start with 24 teams, top seed in each division gets buys, and series being best of 3.
What?
I don't want to do that.
No. Why would you do that?
Nah, man, because the Rangers are like 2 solid points behind the Hurricanes.
And I
don't want to do that.
They've already played like 75% of the regular season.
No,
dude.
no.
You're going to start over just because of this? No.
Guess what? You can resume right where the season started.
And just play later
and
into
you
the
can
summer.
And you can play into the summer. Baseball ain't going to trip.
No.
Baseball's not going to trip.
And football won't either, even if you have to, go into, people are saying, oh, man, at this rate, we're going to have to be playing in August. And fine. Who cares? That's fine, dude. Like, listen, dude, we really have to start to, evaluate what needs to happen and what doesn't need to happen. I don't think we need to do anything drastic like that.
He's saying 2014 playoff, top 4 teams get buys, leaves 20 other teams with a best of 3 series.
Listen, I'm not trying to say your sources aren't real, but I would be
it's a dumbass idea.
I would be very, very, very surprised if that's true. Very surprised.
I'll be disappointed if that's true too.
I'd just be surprised. Owners would never agree to that. First of all, owners would never agree to that. That would take. First of all, I understand this is an unprecedented thing, right? And something like this has never. I mean, this is. It's. I don't want to understate this. Something like this has never happened in the history of sports. We've had baseball go through world wars. We've had World War II and World War I happen in baseball. This has never happened in the history of sports where something so serious and so catastrophic took the league to cancel or postpone their season. I highly doubt that the NHL owners or players would agree to that.
I'm gonna go ahead and just put in the group chat exactly what if you didn't hear what I just said, I'm gonna write this in all caps. This is a dumb ass idea.
Is he not here? Is our audio off or are we? No. Listen.
No, they hear what we saying.
But the big thing is, man. Listen, that there's no reason for that. That's the worst part about that. There's no reason for that. You don't have to do that. 24. Listen, it's not as if you have. Okay. If we only got to play 15 games and then we had a stoppage and we had to stop for 4 months, fine. But you played 75% of the total regular season games. There's not that much season left. There's no reason for you to do something like that.
No. Especially for teams that have been on the come up trying to get that last playoff spot. You can't punish them over something that wasn't under their control.
And then reward teams who are shit.
Basically.
To have 24 teams going, that's stupid.
No, hell no.
That's crazy.
Hell no. It's the dumbest thing I've heard. Hell no.
But we appreciate your inside sources, though.
Right.
Please.
Gary Bettman, do the right thing. Do not get on the level of
I think
what's the other dumbass we've been talking about? The one in baseball.
Robbie Manfred.
Yeah. Don't be a dumbass like.
We'll be
Rob
ragging
Manfred.
on Rob as much as we can soon. By the way, the Premier League, they don't seem too worried about this whole thing. By the way, in Europe, they've already said they're going to come back to the table on Thursday. They're going to discuss this. They're probably going to play with no fans in the stadium, but they're going to play. And they are even deeper into their season right now, and they just seem to think that right now, fine, you can take a money loss here or there, but there's no reason to cancel a season right now because it's not having as dramatic effect as people want to think it is. No people who are dying across the globe are dying because of a few reasons. A, they're one of the vulnerable people that we talked about earlier in this podcast, or B, they don't have access to the proper health care that they need. Otherwise, everyone is surviving this thing, dude.
just a real quick. How long we been doing this? All right. So let's get into because I've been racking my brain.
We also have to talk about Izzy and
that's
and
exactly
Romero.
where I was going.
Yeah, okay,
that's
perfect.
exactly
Thank you
where
so
I was
much.
going.
We're
Because
sharing our brain over here.
of all this stupid ass nonsense that's been going on.
It's been overshadowed.
Because I almost texted you, was like, dude, was that fight the week before or last week? That's how much I'm just tired of this coronavirus.
Yeah.
I'm tired of the shutdown. I'm tired of America done lost his balls. Not only did we lose our balls to be bitches, but then we turned around and became idiots. So once America comes back to normalcy, if that's even possible, there was a UFC fight on Saturday, and it was a pretty amazing card. As a matter of fact, I was door dashing and watching the fight at the same time because it is capable.
Yeah.
And you want to talk about a tale of two halves. First off, let me say this. I'm done with Joe Rogan.
Everybody is right now.
I'm done with. I have not been a fan of Joe Rogan doing UFC commentary for double-digit years. I am done with Joe Rogan. This is Joe Rogan's best moments in UFC. Ow, ow, hey, ow,
His reactions.
Why does the UFC keep letting Joe Rogan go into the cage to give interviews?
He's Dana's best buddy, that's why.
The worst. The worst. He is the drizzling shit, and I've been saying this for years, and I was like, Nick, you gotta respect Joe Rogan because he has a black belt, and I don't give a rat's ass. He sucks. His podcast might be decent. Some of his views might be spot on.
He's rich. It's fine. Yeah.
But when it comes to being a UFC color analyst, he is the diarrhea, drizzling, doo-doo shit. Horrible.
He's been really bad lately.
It is time for him to go. God bless. Like when I was watching the fight between Joanna and Zhang, right?
Yeah, Weili Zhang.
Zhang could do no wrong.
Yeah.
He was all over the jock of Zhang Weili. Joanna got in a couple nice little combos in there here and there. Zhang Weili would hit one left hand. Ow, what a great hit, right hand back. You didn't just see this 3-hit combo Joanna just hit Zhang with?
It's more of the power thing, too. Like, he sees that, Weili Zhang, her game is she's going to try and knock you out. Joanna's game is she's going to try and, box you out, right? She's going to try and, technique you. And especially, so Weili definitely won the first 2 rounds because she was fresher. But those last 3 rounds, it's as if they weren't paying attention to what Joanna was doing at all.
No, they were
and you know what it was? Exactly. It was the hematoma was so ugly by the 2nd or 3rd round that everyone just assumed that Weili had to have been winning that fight. I rewatched it. Shout out to my guy. I want to give a shout out right now. Shout out my guy Diego. He hooked me up with a really nice setup for, let's just say, our unsanctioned viewings of sporting events, movies, televisions. So I have a hookup on that now. So if you guys know me personally, you can DM me for that, and I'll get you hooked up
yes,
too.
Sir.
But my boy Diego hooked me up with this, and I actually was one of the channels on there. Actually has the full fight. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna watch the full fights, and I watched that fight, and I did score it 3-2 Weili.
Yeah,
but it was so obvious watching it again that the commentating team, first of all, Daniel Cormier, he's just bad. He's not good. He's not good. Yeah. Daniel Cormier,
terrible.
You know what he's trying to do? He's trying to do Tony Romo. He's trying to do I'm just one of you guys, and I'm up here. I'm a fan. They kept harping on that. Dude, you're not a fan, bro. You get paid hundreds of thousands of dollars to do this. You're a millionaire. Listen, dude. The commentating has been worse and worse for Joe Rogan over the last couple of years.
Oh my God.
I still remember even the Conor and Nate Diaz fight, the second one,
yeah,
where after Conor had knocked down Nate that first couple of times in those first couple of rounds, and Nate kept getting up, but he was getting knocked down, and Joe Rogan it was over for him. That's it. Conor was doing. And the last 3 rounds, Nate was doing some real damage in those last 3 rounds. And even then, I noticed Joe just couldn't get over that. And he's been bad ever since. We talked about the John Jones-Reyes fights, the last Izzy fight. He's been bad on multiple occasions, and you're not the only one who thinks so.
Man, terrible.
Really bad. But that fight, the Zhang Weili, Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight, first ballot Hall of Famer, one of the best fights of all time. This fight was made. If you paid for that fight, first of all, I'm sorry if you paid for that card. But that fight alone made it worth it. Because obviously that main event was absolute shit. Oh my goodness, Moicano. Oh, he's still mad at him. Chokes him out, and then he must have said something to him. Oh no, let's get security in here. Moicano's pissed off. Oh. What's going on? I've never seen this.
No.
What's going on with security right now? Security's not doing a very good job. Renato Moicano just choked out this dude, and after he choked him out, he got right in his face and started talking shit to him, and looked like they were going to fight again. He must have said something to him. He does not look too happy. And they're in Brazil, and he's out there pointing to nobody because there's nobody out in the crowd. He's like, yeah, you did it. And by the way, Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira, my bad, are fighting on the main card of this fight. And Kevin Lee was like, yeah, I don't even mind because we're in Brazil, and they're not going to be booing me anymore. Moicano. Oh! And Moicano had him in the rear naked, and he was still punching him. And then after the rear naked, he taps. I don't even know who his opponent is, but yeah, he taps.
Got that cranked.
And then, man, as soon as he uncranks it, he just gets right in his face. And yeah, but overall, the whole thing with the last week's card, that last fight was really fucking disappointing, dude.
Terrible.
Really disappointing. If you missed it, guys, Yoel Romero was challenging Israel Adesanya for the middleweight title. Listen, we talked about how a lot of people like to talk shit about if you want to be the champ, you have to beat the champ, and this whole idea of the champ is like elevated, and we said no, that's not the case. You're coming to the fight with an even level playing field. Whoever wins that fight wins. That's it, right? And Yoel Romero, I know you noticed, and if you watch the fight, for the first minute and a half of the fight, he was playing. He was playing around.
Yep.
He was looking down, and a lot of people looked at that and said, "Oh, he's playing around." But there was also a lot of people who said, "Well, he's doing something that basically lures Izzy in, and he's trying to basically bait Izzy in." So Izzy, being the smart fighter that he is, waits, and then you know what he says? Izzy, you could tell in his face after about 2 minutes of Yoel playing around, he said, "Fuck this, I'm gonna go in," and he eats that nasty right hand to the face, right into the eye, and right away Izzy goes, "Oh shit!" Like I don't want to get. You could see it in his face. Like I don't want to get hit with that again. And from that moment on, Izzy played a very defensive fight. He won that fight. I think it's hard to make an argument that Yoel won that fight. He won the first round. There's a lot of people saying he won the second round, and there's a lot of people who are saying that he was more active. If he was more active in the last 3 rounds, he could have won that fight. I don't think so. I just think that Izzy being the smart guy that he is, knew that he was going to have to be defensive, but he did admit that was one of the most boring fights he's ever been a part of. He said he understands that fans were upset, but at the end of the day, he's a champion, and he has more at stake, more at risk, right? Like Yoel has nothing to lose. He could jump in there, do whatever that, even like the last 4 minutes of the fight, he was doing those like somersaults in, Yoel, he didn't take this seriously the way he was supposed to, and clearly he didn't give a shit about this. Can we listen to this right now?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Now I'm a daddy. I love my wife.
He was pointing.
I have to say every day she's the best person I know.
Aw.
She carried my kid, my son, and I want to dedicate this victory for him. His name is.
Let's see if Michael Bisping.
Like the son of the God.
Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead, sir. Mike,
Like, what exactly happened in there? Right? Why you get into his face?
Michael Bisping, first of all, is one of the funniest dudes ever, but also I was hoping he would ask him about what happened at the end of the fight.
Why can't Michael Bisping take over Joe Rogan's spot? Because Joe Rogan's
I don't know if you've noticed, but Dominic Cruz, Daniel Cormier, Paul Felder, Mike Bisping, and a couple other guys are dabbling in this right now. If you don't already know, Joe doesn't do every event. He only does the big events. First of all, he only does ones that are in the United States, period. He doesn't go out of the United States at all anymore. Because he's right. I mean, here's the thing about Joe Rogan. If you don't want to do this anymore, just don't do it anymore.
Yeah.
He said earlier today on his Instagram, because they have a fight companion. Fight companion is basically they go live and they have a podcast live while they're watching the fights, and then they'll put down what fight they're watching, and they'll put down exactly what the time is, so you can synchronize it while you're watching it. You can watch them talk about it. He said, he keeps saying, I love this more than doing the commentating. Then just do it, bro.
Right, bro.
Then just do it. You'll be fine, and UFC will be fine.
Yes. Exactly. When we get Mike Goldberg back while we're at it, too.
Mike Goldberg's doing a great job. And by the way, Bellator. So Bellator, they took the lead from the UFC. First of all, the UFC is the only organization, like we talked about, other than Mexican Soccer League, that said, no, we're going to be fine. Everything's fine. I read something early on Bloody Elbow that said a lot of the reasons why they decided to move forward with this specific event is because it's sponsored by the U.S. Army and that they've already put the money into this thing, and it makes no sense for them not to go through with it, even if it means not having fans there. So they decided to go through with it. The UFC has not committed to future events. Khabib and Tony, for the sixth fucking time, is supposed to happen in April. We don't know if it's going to happen now. In fact, we don't know if any UFC event is going to happen after this. They're saying it will. They're promoting it like it will. They're promoting this Leon Edwards and Woodley fight for next week. They're promoting the Khabib and Tony fight. Bellator was supposed to have, an event yesterday. This event yesterday was supposed to be a pretty big one for them. And they decided last week we're going to move forward with it after everyone was telling them, listen, apparently this whole NBA thing, they knew they were going to postpone the season about a week and a half ago.
Right.
And they just basically said, we don't know how we're going to, put it out there. And then basically the week that the way that it unfolded was Oklahoma City was supposed to play the Utah Jazz. They were in Utah for the game. Everything is ready. There's fans in the stadium. It's like the tip-off. The tip-off is 5 minutes away. Players are getting warmed up. They're putting the chalk on their fingers. They're doing their handshakes. They're going through their motions. And 5 minutes before tip-off, they cancel the game. And they actually tell people, the doctors are running in and out from the locker room onto the floor, and they're telling people one of the Utah Jazz players is compromised. They think that this person has been exposed to the virus. It turns out that it's Rudy Gobert. It turns out that it's Donovan Mitchell. Both of them did test positive. Both of them seem to be fine. Both of them are doing a good job of dispelling this sort of doom and gloom that everyone thinks they're going to die. Both of them were like, no, we're fine. We have flu-like symptoms. We're going to be fine. We're at the house. But basically, Bellator was going to move forward with this event yesterday. And then in the morning, about 8 hours before the event's supposed to start, they decided to cancel it. They decided that, first of all, it wasn't going to be profitable enough and worth it to not have people in the stands because that's how they make most of their money. Bellator has an app. They don't really do ESPN or anything else like that. Scott Coker, the owner, and I guess this, whatever you want to call it, the CEO, decided to say, you know what, screw this. We're going to pay all these fighters. We're going to pay everybody that was supposed to get paid for this fight, and we're just going to move forward and hope that the next event can happen. And I think that's what everyone's doing right now. It's something that we talked about ourselves because obviously, this show is mainly about sports, right? And it's about sports. And if we don't have sports to talk about, we are lacking in that department right now. So same thing that we talked about with each other, which is, we're going to have to wait this thing out and see what happens. That's what Scott Coker is saying right now. now for Bellator, and it seems like UFC is hell-bent on making sure that these fights happen because, again, the O2 Arena in London, this is happening March 21st, this coming Saturday, and apparently they're going to do this with no fans in the stadium, and they're going to move forward with this. It's going to be on ESPN+, so we'll see what happens.
Excuse me. Yeah, man.
And some decent-ass fights on this card, too, man. That's the worst part. It's a great card, and right now there's nobody there to watch it, and I guarantee you only hardcore sports fans are watching this right now just because they miss it.
I'm so blue right now.
Yeah, no
You
sports
guys,
is
you
like,
guys
wow.
have no idea how blue I am. Like, you have no idea. Like, Thursday when I was all concerned about what the future of our show was going to be because I'm like, well, damn, if they're not going to do anything for 30 days, like, I can only talk about I'm sick of talking about it right now as we speak.
Yeah, we don't want. I mean, this is going to be honestly, this is probably going to be the last show that you hear us talk about the coronavirus.
Yeah, I don't wanna
Next
talk about
week's
this
show, we're
crap.
probably going to be talking about what's in the news, but I very highly doubt we're going to talk anything coronavirus.
Yeah,
related.
I don't want to talk about this crap anymore, dude. It's stupid. I'm done watching everybody act like idiots. But it's kind of taking the wind out of the sails because nothing's going on. Like, I mean, we have the UFC fight, but all of our major sports went down. It's just everything is crazy right now. America's kind of in turmoil or in chaos, as they say, But on the bright side, I did get a new car.
Yeah, congrats, my man.
Yeah, dude, the car's freaking sweet. It's gonna get me in trouble though, because that car gets up.
Gets a little fast in there.
Gets a little fast in the Escape, dude. But like, I really wanted an Explorer, but dude, I got more bells and whistles with the Escape than I did an Explorer. So I was like, screw it, just give me the freaking Escape. I'm only one that's in that car anyway. I'm gonna somehow run some games to get some girls to get in my car though.
There you go.
Like
There you
50
go.
Cent.
I like that.
I haven't figured out what I'm gonna do
It
quite
in
yet.
my car.
That's right. That's
I
gonna be
don't
my
got
theme
pickup
song.
lines.
I'll be like, hey, baby, you can hook your iPhone to the car.
Yeah, I got that aux cable, baby.
Oh, my mama. Hey, just go and get your charge cable.
I got that young aux cable. And oh, by the way, the Premier League is going to meet this Thursday, and apparently they're saying they're going to move forward. They're going to try and move forward with this, which it's encouraging, but at the same time, they're not being affected like we are.
According to our genius president, you can travel to you can't travel anywhere in Europe.
He's banning
but
travel.
England.
Yeah. No, and they changed that, by the way. They changed
they
changed that this morning. They added the UK and another couple countries to that.
I was gonna say
probably because people were like, "Hey, this seems kind of racist." That you're doing. But no, first of all, that guy, he can't win either way. But that's his fault, right? Like people saying, "Well, he can't win if he does this." I'm not saying it's him. He's got incompetent people around him. Like what we were talking about. The president is put into the seat.
I don't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're okay.
That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, in Ghana. And that one is March 28th. So the UFC has fights scheduled for next week, the week after, and then we have a week off, and then they do Overeem versus Walt Harris, and then Khabib Tony is April 18th, a week before Ramadan. If that fight doesn't happen, it will probably never happen. So honestly, anybody who's listening, Jesus, Buddha, Vishnu, anybody, please do whatever you can in your power to just straighten this out. Because if anything, we cannot lose this to Khabib Tony. Yeah, please, anything. Can we just make sure that this happens? Because it would be a shame if that fight never happened. Both fighters are saying if this doesn't happen this time, coronavirus or not, they may not be able to ever do this again. And by the way, it's going to be Ramadan, so it's not like they can say, okay, let's delay it because Ramadan's going to be another month. That's going to put it back another month, and they just don't have slots later on in the year to put this in. They can't delay this anymore. This is having major repercussions right now. And again,
have we figured out how this whole stupid nonsense even started in the first place?
The virus?
Yeah.
I
have my ideas, but I'm trying to see what's the word on the street.
I've heard that the virus started because somebody ate a bat. Somebody ate an animal that was like a bat or something like that, and that the bat had the virus, and that the bat was the only one that could be exposed to something like this. I wouldn't put my money on that theory. But at the same time,
I swear to God, dude, yeah. Because AIDS started because some guy banged a monkey. Now the
That's what they said.
coronavirus
Yeah,
started
yeah,
because
exactly.
some dude ate a bat.
yeah, even though AIDS just
But knowing the
so
gullible
happens
sheep
to
that
be-
we are, sometimes we. Oh my God! who
comfort sometimes
Oh, my
takes
God.
a higher precedence than truth, right? Like
Yeah.
sometimes it's like we don't really want to tell them what it really is because that's going to make them uncomfortable. And again, you see what a slight agitation does to this country. This whole thing is a slight agitation, and we're seeing the way people are reacting in these stores, the way that they're hoarding on things. The way, first of all, if you are using coronavirus as an excuse to be racist to Asian people, fuck you.
Yeah.
A giant fuck you to all
I'm
those
glad you
people.
brought that up. Yeah. Hey, here's my favorite one. I'm not going to eat at the Chinese restaurants because
Fuck
they
off,
might have
dude.
coronavirus.
Fuck off.
Okay, so let's use our head for a second. Do you honestly think that rice that they buy is coming from overseas?
And it's like that's such a racist
Word.
thing to even think. Like, dude, this is crazy, man.
But that's what I'm saying, dude. America somewhere has lost its common sense and its balls, and the media has the has the opportunity right now to write everything to make sure that people aren't acting like complete stupid jackasses. And what are they doing? Nothing. Absolutely not. Like, I can sit here and tell you the truth. I can sit here and tell you the truth about everything that's going on through my eyes and tell you that everything's common sense and whatnot. But you're not gonna listen to me because I'm not part of the alphabet boy system, and I don't do all that. I'm not part of the media. Dr. Drew has come out and said, "Hey, man, dude, the influenza kills more than coronavirus." No one wants to believe that because this is the fresh flavor of the month. Oh my God! Oh, what am I gonna do? Oh my gosh, the coronavirus! Oh, you gotta like wash your hands 500 times. Never mind, they tell you to wash your hands when you're done using the bathroom, before you eat, after you eat, before
you should already. First of all, you should have already been washing your hands.
You get what I'm saying,
right?
So then I like. There's a couple jackasses that are out there. It's like, oh, hand sanitizer's hot now in the streets. How about I go on Amazon? You got to pay $900 for a bottle of hand sanitizer, and dumbasses are really paying.
I mean, that's what capitalism.
$900.
That's what capitalism is.
Oh
it's
my
if
God,
we
dude.
can profit on this, then it's okay. I mean, we talked about it before the show, Nick. In this country, we have this mentality, and it's been beaten into us from years and years of the elections and politicians telling us what we want to hear and everybody in authority telling us what we want to hear. And it's been beaten into us that every single time you bring up something like that's going to take a lot of money, right? So like universal health care, student loan forgiveness, this and that. Where are we going to get the money from? Where's this money going to come from? Oh, we're just going to magically come up with this number. And it's always this theatrics of, oh my God, there's no money for that. And overnight, the government finds $1.5 trillion and says, hey, I know Wall Street, you guys aren't doing too well right now because our president's kind of inept and isn't doing a good job of explaining this whole thing. So you know what? Here's $1.5 trillion. You know what they said student loan forgiveness would cost? $500 billion. Not even half of what they just paid. A third of what they just paid right now. We don't know where it came from. Nobody asked where it came from. Nobody's like, hey, where the fuck did you get $1.5 trillion to give to more rich people? Because at the end of the day, I don't care what anyone tells me, the stock market has never done shit for me. Has the stock market never done shit
Not
for
a
you?
damn thing.
If the stock market crashed today, I'm
still
not
gotta be
sure
to work
that
tomorrow.
I'm going to work, and some things might be affected, but the stock market doing good has never affected me in a positive way. So when you're telling me what's more important to you, bailing out Wall Street, which we've already done under Obama and Biden, and what's more important to you, bailing out Wall Street or making sure people have access to health care and making sure people aren't gouged to death when they want their kids to go to college? I don't know, man. It just seems to me right now that everybody's a little bit confused on how shit works. And then when you have just this minor scare, here's just a minor inconvenience to your life. Oh my God, here we go. And it's just like, you know what, man, I think and I said this on the phone to you yesterday, this is in another week, we're going to see this thing pass. Meaning,
so.
Not saying that this is going to be the last year here of coronavirus, but another week, you're going to start to see, oh, okay, All right, this is not as deadly as you thought. Okay, all right. My grandma's fine. Did you call grandma? Grandma's fine. Okay, all right. Grandma's fine. All right. You know
So
what?
what are we gonna do?
What
with
are
all
we
this
gonna do?
toilet tissue?
Yeah, like I got Wi-Fi, so and again, stay home. Please listen to your doctors and listen to these safety recommendations. But at the end of the day, dude, if you're one of these people who is hoarding toilet paper and doing all this crazy shit and making sure that Walmart gets all of your money, it's already bad enough that Walmart gets all of our money, but it's even crazier that right now somebody in Walmart's headquarters is like this.
James, can we go ahead and put out the rest of the toilet paper?
Yeah, the warehouse full of toilet paper we have. Throw that out there. Let's get that in there right now.
Let's go ahead and put out 12 pallets. Let's see how it goes. And then if it feels like we're gonna run out, just go ahead and put 8 more. But we gotta save those other 300 we got back.
And by the way, we need some for ourselves too. So don't dip into the personal stash. Don't dip into the personal stash.
Don't give them the Scots. Don't give them the Scots. Give them the generic.
And I want to know, Nick, who is in their house going, oh my God, the coronavirus is coming. Oh my God, what are we gonna do? We need to go get toilet paper. We need toilet paper. We need as much toilet paper as we can get. How am I gonna wipe my shit if I don't have toilet? Like, dude, go use the shower. Go use water. First of all, I was telling Steve before I came, I don't think I've relied on toilet paper to wipe my ass for like 10 years now. First of all, I have a bidet. Otherwise, if you come from my side of the world where my family comes from, we use water to wash our ass. We've never used toilet paper. So toilet paper to us is just a drying method. It's just kind of like, all right, throw that in there to dry that thing up. But I've always used water. And I don't know if you guys know, but you can do this too. Okay, you can do this too. Get a cup, use water, wash your ass, and then wash your hands. Everything will be fine. I promise. You don't need to hoard toilet paper. Everybody's going to be fine.
This coronavirus to me sounds a lot of 24-ish to me.
It sounds like hipster, kind of like
It sounds like 24. This is some stupid
24.
shit.
I see.
Ever
Okay,
on 24.
Kiefer Sutherland type. Okay.
This is why the only reason why this thought can even come in my head is because my general manager tried to explain to me the difference between the virus and the coronavirus. He's like, a virus, you can touch your face and everything, but until it gets in your body, you can't do shit. However, with the coronavirus, because it's a biological virus, you can touch your face and it can somehow still affect you. Sounds like 24. Sounds like two dinguses were sitting somewhere on some biological weapon bullshit, and we're like, watch this. I'm sick of this. And as a matter of fact, maybe I'm off on what I'm finna say next. Because as many of y'all know, I'm a conspiracy theorist. I don't take things for face value. I read in between the lines of a lot of things. I find it funny that this whole coronavirus supposedly started in the country where what's his name, El Presidente, have been putting them tariffs all over the place, and now all of a sudden China mad at the world. Not only that, but in the same country where what's the name was set tripping about this whole Hong Kong nonsense. Remember when the NBA was supposed to? Remember the NBA and the NBA, and it was supposed to be, and the NBA and Hong Kong and China.
Donald's been talking about shit about them since before the election. Remember, China, and every single. Yeah, I mean, listen, dude. If you've never heard, if you're listening to what we just said, and you're like, oh, dude, fucking nonsense, then I would highly suggest,
Somebody did.
I would highly suggest you go to the internet, and you research what we're talking about, which is biological weapons of war. It's happened before. It's Gilbert Burns just puts Damian Maya on his ass. This dude is a beast, Gilbert Burns. Look at his fucking...
And I am surprised that like Maya had him, because Damian Maya
is a jiu-jitsu guy.
Is a submission expert.
Yeah.
And just let him stand up like that after he looked like he was about to mount him.
And that's all Burns can do too is throw punches. So I didn't see it because I was too busy talking. Oh,
and he knew it was over, and the ref's just gonna sit there. So let me rain down 20 more
ref,
fists.
come on, ref, you gotta do
dumbass,
a better job than that, man. Oh my God, yeah, that was perfect.
At that point,
and then the head hits the mat. He should have jumped in right away. Yeah, it almost seemed like Maya was waiting for him to jump in.
It was almost as if Burns was like, dude, I just knocked him out.
Like, come on, stop the fight. Yeah.
He's not moving.
Yeah. But yeah, listen, if you listen to what Nick said and you go, oh man, you fucking tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist, I would highly suggest you do some research and research it on your own. Find a source that you feel is trustworthy and research biological warfare. This is not something that's new. This is something that has been going on for a long time. And, there's a lot of shady stuff going on, meaning like there was a Harvard professor who just so happened to lie about his connections to getting paid from China, and he was studying at Harvard, and it just so happens he was studying COVID-19. These types of things, man, it's like if there's smoke, there's fire sometimes.
Or how about the doctor that was going to spill the beans about the coronavirus happened to die from the coronavirus? Really?
And then
if I came to Mac right now, if we were doctors and I came to Mac and I was like, Mac, it's going to be this new strain coming out called, give me a good beer, Heineken virus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But don't
Heineken
trip.
10. Uh-huh.
Right. Don't trip, though. This is like, all right, now, let me do you one better. Right. Let me do you one better.
Okay.
If I came out and I was like, dude, check this out, man. These guys over here on some shady shit, man. They finna do something called a Heineken 10, bro.
Oh, shit.
Like, man, this is some nonsense, bro.
my
And it's gonna scare the world and kill a whole bunch of people. But don't trip, man. I got this virus and I'm finna let all the people know what's finna happen. Bruh, if you read in between the lines and stuff, the so-called governments ain't finna let that happen.
No.
They told this man, you better keep your mouth shut because there's an agenda behind this.
And coronavirus is not new. It's not new.
Right,
It's been around for a while.
This strand apparently.
Yeah, it just started in 2019 is when they
some
found
idiot ate a bat apparently, and he was finna be like, no, I'm not finna sit here and let you kill a whole bunch of innocent people because y'all wanna be mad because of Trump and these tariffs and everything else, and you mad because you finna take over Hong Kong. Hong Kong don't want nothing to do with your monkey asses, and all of a sudden you're upset. And the doctor happened to die from the same virus that he was finna warn people about, and y'all believe that mess? Read in between the lines and don't be sheep. That's all I'm asking.
It's okay to ask questions. It's okay to be skeptical, man. Like, dude, what's Agent Orange and what's some of this other shit that we've been exposed to due to the government that turned out to be crazy? I'm not saying that COVID-19 is some government conspiracy, but what I'm saying is, dude, by the way, China's saying, like, we're good now, by the way. Like,
I saw that.
We're like, we
Them
good.
and Korea.
They're both like, oh, we nipped that shit in the bud, so we're good now.
We did all the quarantine. Everything is fine. We're great.
Which is why I'm saying, okay, we'll be fine then eventually,
Meanwhile, they're sitting like, ha, 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 look at these Americans over here. God dang it, where's the toilet tissue?
Yeah.
Sweet mama Cena, what do we go? And they're laughing at us because America lost its balls. Don't be stupid.
I think everybody
canceling everything, getting upset. Do it damn near about the, what's the word I'm looking for? Stampede somebody over Scott's tissue. Guys, we're better than this. You're supposed to be stronger than this. You're supposed to come out and realize that America wasn't raised by no bitch, and we will not be scared of COVID-19. And like idiots, we dropped the entire ball. Piss off. We're better than that. Canceling everything. Canceling school. This is the time. It's like the chicken pox.
Yeah, but listen.
You're supposed to let the kids play with kids with chicken pox.
Listen, Nick. To be fair, I got to play devil's advocate here, man. The reaction is the issue. The reaction to what we're talking about is the issue. I don't see the issue as them canceling school, right? Because what happens, you just talked about it. If there's let's say, for example, in districts where measles, some dumb anti-vaxxer doesn't vaccinate their kid, the kid gets measles. Next thing you know, there's a measles outbreak. They have to do that for precautionary reasons. I understand that, right? But the reaction to that has to be better. We have to be more mature. We have to be a little bit smarter. We have to be more informed. Like at the end of the day, everybody who doesn't let's just say this. If you don't know what this is and you haven't looked into it, stop giving people advice. Stop telling people what to do. just listen to what they're saying. Quarantine yourself. If you're not feeling well, go to the doctor, wash your hands, try not to do too much human contact, and just leave it at that. But listen, man, I have to say, collateral damage of something like this is the fact that we do have to cancel some of this shit. It sucks. I'm not going to lie. I understand your frustration from it. But these are precautions that need to be taken to protect the most vulnerable people. Again, not protecting you and I, not protecting even most of the people who are watching this. Most of the people who are watching this or listening to this are going to be just fine. Even if they do get coronavirus, they're probably going to be just fine. This is to protect the more vulnerable people among us. I'm okay with that. But to cancel, like, okay, let's just put it this way. I heard that some artists and comedians are canceling shows in June, July, and beyond. That's a little bit rash. That's a little bit much. You know, we need to figure out what the hell's going on. Like, I have a feeling that people are so scared of something like this that they are willing to shapeshift their life to adjust to it, and we don't have to do that, dude.
No.
Like, you know, you don't have to, I hear about some venues, wedding venues are calling people who have booked wedding venues with them and basically said, hey, you should be prepared to cancel your wedding. That's crazy. That is nuts. If you're not talking about in the next week or two or in the next month or two, don't cancel anything. Don't cancel anything because we don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, Italy had a massive outbreak that almost killed a bunch of people. It didn't kill a bunch of people. They quarantined a bunch of people, and apparently they said they're a couple weeks away from basically everything going back to normal. So we can't make rash decisions here and stop hoarding everything. Stop stampeding into stores. Stop this.
So Italy's cool, almost. China's cool. Korea's cool.
Mm-hmm. Europe apparently is like, because again, their population is a little bit less, so
right.
I guess, you know, but they're saying, yeah, we'll be fine.
Europe's gonna be cool,
Mm-hmm.
and they all laughing at us
because we're stampeding for toilet paper.
Does that not bother anybody?
Yeah.
Italy went from saying we're gonna shut down the country to saying, you know what, give us 2 weeks, we'll be all right. China said, damn it, we have an outbreak. And I saw yesterday on MSNBC that they did the quarantine thing, and they haven't had a single outbreak
Even
in the last week and a half.
Even Wuhan, which they said was like the worst, they said Wuhan will be totally fine in a month or two.
Europe, the place where we can't travel all of a sudden, you know, because apparently it's their fault somehow.
I'm okay with that, by the way. This is a controversial opinion. Y'all stay over there. For the time being, just until we figure shit out, just like he said about the Muslims, right? He said the same thing about the Muslims, right? He said, just for the time being, we need to figure out what's going on. Stay over there for a little while. We'll be okay. We'll be okay.
They said they're going to be all right. But America, still canceling stuff, still stocking up on tissue, and the world laughs at us.
Like,
Be
dude,
proud of that.
don't.
Because I'm not. You can be proud of that, but as an American, not proud of it. I will not be the laughing stock on the bitch train of the coronavirus. So we need to do better and show the world why we are the strongest nation in the world. So either stand up or stand out. What are you going to do?
And there's plenty of people who are reacting in the correct way, right? Like, there's plenty of people who are reacting in the correct way.
I'm not right now. I know a lot of people like, Nick, hey, you have to take this seriously. No.
But it's not like you're not taking it seriously, right? You're just saying there's no reason for it to be up here, right? Like, we can take it seriously at a baseline level, but to go all the way up here for it, we don't have to, man. We don't have to.
I can admire the Willis Tower from the ground.
We're not saying this isn't real, right? We're not saying this is, like, dude, this is something that should be taken. But, like, again, and I said this on the phone to you again, you're going to react differently to cancer than you would a flu, right? If you went to the doctor and you went to the doctor and they found out you had the flu, the doctor would probably be like, everything's going to be fine. You know, we're going to take precautionary measures. You know, we'll get you a medication. Stay at home and wait it out. Everything will be fine.
Right.
But reacting to cancer, the doctor is going to have to, okay, we have to get the testing going. We have to make sure that everything is in line. And it's a more urgent process. And we're talking about right now, we're reacting to this as if it's cancer, and we're not reacting to it as if it's the flu, right? And again, the outbreak and the precautions that we're taking are for other people, and we understand this, but also at the very same time, it's okay for us to be frustrated about it because, you know, we do I won't speak for Nick. I think we should have been a little bit more prepared for this, man. I think it's a little bit embarrassing that I have friends who are, you know, doctors and people who work in the healthcare field saying that this is completely wasn't prepared for correctly, and clearly right now, obviously one of the big issues is the ERs being flooded and some of the other healthcare centers being flooded. With people and these you know, public, you know, I know that they said any gathering over 250 people is going to be banned very soon,
Right.
And that's because, again, they don't want this to have such a dramatic effect where one person gets thousands of people sick, and next thing you know, we have thousands of people who have to go to the ER. So listen, man, I hate talking about this right now. The best thing that could happen to us here over the next week is we start to see some clarity about what's going to happen. Hopefully we see some of the leagues take I don't know what type of numbers the UFC is going to do with this. I don't think it really matters, but I hope that other leagues look at what the UFC is doing here. I know you don't want to have no fans in the crowd, but the show can still go on in a way where we're not endangering people. And again, Rudy Gobert, Donovan Mitchell both tested positive. They're both being treated and should probably both be fine the next couple of weeks. So we really have no other excuse for this other than to go for it.
Heather says Boston public schools have been canceled through April the 27th.
Wow. And that's the timeline that a lot of the leagues are giving too, right? They're saying second week of April, third week of April is a little bit soon, but maybe end of April, maybe, you know, listen, dude, even if you tell me, like, baseball to me, I don't even want to talk about baseball because I'm so emotional about it. Like, if this White Sox season doesn't happen, dude, I'm gonna fucking flip out. I don't know what I would do. But again, these are sort of like first world problems, right? I'm not sitting here talking about this because, first of all, I think baseball is gonna be fine. I really truly, call me crazy, call me naive. I think baseball would be fine. Maybe we'll be delayed a couple of weeks, but I think we'll be fine. I think at the end of the day, first of all, that NHL plan, I hope it never makes it even to the table because I think the NHL will be fine, just like the NBA. Come back, play the remaining games, just do the playoffs, and let's get this over with. Even if we're playing in frickin' July, we'll be fine.
We'll be fine. Well,
I think that's just about the limit of what we can do.
That's all we can do at this point.
Yeah.
So next week, hopefully we'll get some positive news throughout the week, and then it will force us to come in next week. But we'll keep you updated on the Facebook page or what's going to happen with the show.
Mm-hmm.
This is kind of killing me inside because I look forward to coming and doing this.
Yeah,
but
me too, man.
we should be talking about the ML. We should be doing our spring training segment, but we can't.
Should be talking NFL draft.
We should be talking NFL draft. We should talk about the Rangers getting that eighth or the second wild card spot. I guess it's not eighth playoff spot. The second wild card spot.
Yeah.
That's what we should be talking about. But instead, we're going to end the show a little early. But pay attention to the Mac and Back Facebook page. We will let you know if we even have a show next week and what's going to happen to the show in the future. And if we do have to take time off, we'll definitely let you know when we're going to be coming back once our lives get right back into shape where it should be in the first place.
It's sports. Listen, the big thing for us right now is that if there's no sports to talk about, you know, we have to figure something out to talk about. And if there's no sports going on, then there's nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
And we're not going to sit here and do a coronavirus show for 4 weeks in a row. So, like I said,
I'm Alphabet Boys out for that now.
Yeah, exactly. I think we can, you know, wait this thing out. I think we can see what's going to happen over the next couple of weeks. And I'm very excited for this fight too. It's about to be Kevin Lee versus Charles Oliveira. So, but yeah, appreciate you guys. Check out the Mac and Black page again. We'll keep you updated with all all the news regarding this stuff. We'll try and post links and everything like that. We appreciate all your support. Do us a huge favor if you can. You know your boys are going through a little bit of an emotional time right now because we're missing a big portion of our lives here. So if you could do us a huge favor, go to the Mac and Black show, macandblack.com website, but also if you have an iTunes, if you have Google Play, go in there, give us a rating, throw us a comment, share us out, do what you can for us because we definitely, again, we're going through a little bit of a thing right now, but we'll be back here and hopefully I think next week we can probably say we'll be here next week, but right now, obviously we have to play it by ear here. All right.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining in for last hour. We'll hopefully see you guys next week.
Peace.